Hello and welcome to Boozy Book Reports, a simple podcast where we revisit childhood classics while drinking copious amounts of alcohol. We're your hosts, Beth
and Sam.
And this month we're reporting on Where the Sidewalk Ends, written and illustrated by Shel Silverstein, first published in 1974.
Yeah.
I have vivid memories of this book as a child sitting on the bookshelf.
I remember it sitting on the bookshelf, but I realized when I read it today that I had never read it.
Yeah.
Or not today. This week.
Well, I was kind of had the same feeling. Like I remembered some of the pictures in the book. I remembered vaguely some of the poems, but most of them, not so much.
Yeah. I think I had read the one that has the babysitter in it. So I think that's not The Giving Tree. It might be A Light in the Attic. I had read one of those, but I hadn't read this one.
Yeah, I think I was more into A Light in the Attic because I remember the face on that.
With the head,
and the house,
tree in the house.
Yeah. But before we get into the book, we're gonna get into the drinks. Sam made us two beautiful cocktails. Which, if you want the recipes, they're on our TikTok because you know we are trying to be TikTok famous. Top priority for both of us in life.
This is like not a stage that I ever thought I would ever be in. Like.
I just feel like I'm gonna end up I'm like, Sam, we're gonna do some TikToks. I feel it.
Far cry from my like blogger stage where I just wrote about restaurants I ate at.
Did you have a Tumblr?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Did you have a DeviantArt?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
I did. I did have a DeviantArt.
Okay.
I'm just a little artsy girl.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 beautiful drinks. Which one are you going to go with first?
Well, let's go with the one you aren't going to like.
Perfect.
We're going to start with, this is called A Peach Me. So there was a lovely poem in the book where they mentioned brandy peach as a flavor of ice cream. Mm-hmm. And I just got back from Wisconsin and was somewhat inspired by the brandy old fashioned. Mm-hmm. And so this is a brandy. It's a take on old fashioned. And so it's brandy, it's peach schnapps. We did it Wisconsin style. That's also implies the brandy, and that I smushed a lot of oranges and cherries together, which is why it's got a light pink hue.
And what's the alcohol in here again?
Bourbon. Or not bourbon, sorry. It's brandy.
You said brandy because it makes it sweeter.
It is sweeter. So there's also a little bit of simple syrup in it because I just was making sure it was nice and sweet for you.
What's normally in this again?
So normally
you would think I'm drunk. Sorry.
No. Normally when I make you an old fashioned, it's bourbon.
Oh, okay.
So the Wisconsin old fashioned is like its own thing. They often use brandy and they muddle it with, like, that's all I drank at a wedding fairly recently, and was like, I forgot how good like the sweet version of this is.
It's good.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I like the schnapps.
Peach schnapps is so good. I know that, like, so actually I think both these cocktails are a little bit throwback, which kind of mimics the era that this all comes from. And this is definitely, I feel like peach schnapps is something you see in like Fuzzy Navels. It's like 70s lady drinks.
It literally just made me have a flashback to being a senior in high school, and like my girlfriends came over while my parents were both out for the night. They were going to be back later, and we were just drinking schnapps in my house and like Fuzzy Navels and Boons. And it was a real good time. We got a nice Mormon girl drunk for the first time, and it was fun. So memories.
This reminds me of I make a boozy jello salad.
Oh my gosh.
It's beautiful. You do it with the Knox gelatin, so it's clear, and then you layer it with fruit. And so I make it for 4th of July, but the flavor that comes out of it is peach schnapps, and you use champagne.
Oh.
And it is delicious.
That sounds amazing.
It will get you drunk.
Oh, yeah.
You'll get drunk on jello salad.
It also is very Midwestern. Like, I feel like everything goes into a salad.
It is a little bit, but it's beautiful. Did you ever see the Jelly Shot Test Kitchen back in the day?
No.
There was this lady that had this whole thing where she was doing these very artistic, very beautiful, ornate jello shots. Mm-hmm. So some of them she'd mix the like condensed milk in, and they'd get the creamy colors and stuff like that.
Oh, I have had those before, and they're kind of amazing.
Yeah, it came off of that. The 4th of July. I make it every year for 4th of July. It's just a boozy ass jello salad. It's delicious.
Okay. I'm going to say this is a good one, Sam.
Keep it.
All right. I mean,
now I know.
You gave me a thimbleful, so.
I did. You got a small amount. Oh, God, I love peach schnapps. It's so good.
Okay, drink number 2.
Okay, so this one I feel like a little bit like we're phoning it in a little. Not phoning it in because it is a kind of a complicated drink, but we're calling this one the Silverstein Sling, and we have swapped out the lime juice for lemon juice. But otherwise, it's a Singapore Sling. Mm-hmm. So it's got gin, cherry herrings cherry liqueur, Benedictine, some orange liqueur. I used Cointreau, pineapple juice. It's a tiki drink.
I do have to say, when you were making it, it was just like, and another bottle, and another bottle. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be on my face. And then you were measuring like tiny, like quarter shots and stuff. So
so you use like a quarter ounce of a bunch of different things. And the other thing is they're all liqueur. So they're all like low ABV. They're just sweet and delicious. Yeah. So I think, let's see.
Oh, I like it. And it has a little fizz to it.
Yeah, because there's you put a little bit of club soda in it.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't eat dinner.
It's gonna hit you like a brick.
I'm so excited for it, though. It was a rough day, so I'm looking forward to reporting and drinking.
Just a recipe for you and me having my husband bring us a pizza.
Oh my gosh, a hot and ready man.
You will.
I gotta lay off. Okay, but we're gonna get into this. This is a what?
I just want to make one comment. I think this is the first time you've liked both the drinks.
It is.
Yay!
You did so good.
It's only been like 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, and you only had to do completely sugar fruit drinks with like very little alcohol.
One was like a peach brandy nonsense, and the other, dang it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's so good. Anyway, I'm so happy.
Yes, they're delicious.
I've never been happier in my life.
Delicious. So, this is a little bit different because this is our first poetry book. And so there wasn't we're not going to be retelling all of the poems tonight because that would be ridiculous and too hard and
probably a little boring.
Very much so. Especially because, I do know people listen to us because they want our literary expertise and insight on
Yeah, I don't know if you heard, I have a deviant art, and so therefore I'm an artistic genius.
And I wrote a poem book when I was in second grade. It consisted of 3 pages, so you're welcome.
Yeah, a gift to mankind.
Yes, I think I had a poem that said I had a cat and it went splat. I will see if I can find that and post it for all those that wish to see.
Okay, so speaking of juvenile poetry experiences, did you ever do trigger alert for anybody who's upset by like a little bit of sort of toilet humor? Did you ever do the diarrhea poems?
What the hell? Our diarrhea poems.
Oh, we used to do this all the time. You make a poem and it always has the same form. It's like da 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 da. So an example of one is when you're standing on a ladder and you feel something splatter. Diarrhea.
Yeah. Like when you're sliding into first and you feel something burst. Diarrhea. Cha-cha-cha. Diarrhea. Cha-cha. Oh yeah.
We used to do that.
I didn't know that it was like had a name.
Oh, no, I don't think it is. I don't know if.
It's weird too because we grew up in very different. Okay, that is crazy because we grew up in different areas of the country at different times, and I was pre-internet, and everybody knew that. I just think it's amazing how word of mouth and the lineage of oral blah blahs
culture
keep go.
Sort of it existed before there was Imgur.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh!
It existed before I can have cheeseburger.
Yes. Oh my gosh! I was obsessed with
E-Bomb's World.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I think that's all. The other one that always cracks me up is the S that we all used to draw with the 3 lines.
Yeah.
Everybody drew that S. Yeah. Doesn't matter where you grew up in the U.S. You drew that S.
Yeah.
My name was Sam. I drew that crap everywhere.
Huh. Fascinating. Yeah. I am having a flashback that I need to humble brag because I forgot. And it just came back to me that I'm actually a published author.
Are you?
So in kindergarten, I wrote a poem and it was featured in our local newspaper.
The Tri-City
Herald.
Oh my God.
I still have it.
Can you put a copy?
I will put it up somewhere. I'll put it on our website and our TikTok
Sign
and
it
everywhere.
And put it on the Tiki-Talkies.
It's like, I'll put it everywhere. But I cannot believe that. But yeah, I totally remember now. I got it. And clearly I was very proud. I clipped it and I've had it now for many decades.
I still have all the if you were student of the month, you got to be in the newspaper, and I have every student of the month experience.
Oh my gosh!
Still, I don't. My mom does, but they exist.
That's kind of amazing.
When you're in a small town, and you show up in the newspaper,
oh, it's a big deal.
My mother-in-law still has a picture of Kevin running the Boulder. Like it's like his face among 6 others, and he looks in pain.
Yeah,
it's on the fridge.
Yeah. Because
it's been on the fridge for 20 years.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's same like being featured on the local news. Everybody's going to stop and watch.
This is very true.
And if you had a VHS, you were going to record it and keep it for posterity. Anywho.
Well, yeah.
Okay, we're going to get into this though. So since there's not a back of the book, like a little excerpt of like what this is about, because it's a poetry book, he has a little invitation poem that starts off the book. So Sam's going to read that as we get our spirits ready to partake in the fine art of poetry reading.
You make it sound like we're going to have a seance. It's going to be a seance. Beth's lighting candles. But actually, there is a very cute candle illustration on here. If you are a dreamer, come in. If you are a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer. If you're a pretender, come sit by my fire, for we have some flax golden tales to spin. Come in, come in.
That's nice.
That is nice.
It's a beautiful intro into this.
Yeah.
So, who is this person?
Who? Yes.
Because
do we want to start with this, or do we want to
maybe give us a little like who is this person? Okay. Just a little snippet, and then we'll go a little deeper. But because you told me a couple things on our last episode, where you're like, yeah, Johnny Cash song, and then I was like, who's Johnny Cash? And you looked at me like I was trash.
Sometimes I just don't understand how you didn't grow up, how you grew up somehow in like a smaller town than me, and then you still don't know redneck ass music.
I know. It's because I'm black. I grew up on hip hop. like Grandmaster Flash and Run DMC and like Kid and Play.
Oh my God.
Like I don't even remember hearing country before I was like, 10 or 12.
Do you know who Charlie Pride is?
No.
He's a black country singer.
Is he recent?
No, he's very old.
Okay,
I think he's dead.
Yeah, it just wasn't in my wheelhouse. Like, I didn't come from a country family, though.
That's fair. My huge hole when we do music trivia is 90s rap. I have no idea. Mm-hmm. I'm clueless. So we could do trivia. This is why
we fill our empty spots.
Exactly. Yeah. We're complimentary.
Yes.
This is why you and I are good at Geeks Who Drink trivia together.
Yes. Okay, so.
All right. So if you are coming solely, if you like Beth and most other normal people in this world don't really follow heavy country music trivia, you might not know who Shel Silverstein is, except as an author of children's books. Mm-hmm. So you might think The Giving Tree and Light in the Attic and all these little children's poetry books. But Shel Silverstein actually has a prolific career. He was described by several people as like a true, like sort of the last Renaissance man. Oh. He wrote songs. He wrote plays. He wrote he wrote books. He was a cartoonist, an artist, which I think kind of appears in this work. Mm-hmm. And we can go through his life, I think maybe in a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's way more than, when I thought, children's writer Shel Silverstein, which is what maybe as a middle schooler you think, later. I think realizing that he wrote A Boy Named Sue, which is like one of my favorite songs, was a big mind blow, like a huge mind blow when I was in probably like 9th grade. So we'll talk about it. He was
I'm so excited.
Huge member of the counterculture.
I just think that's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so what were some of your favorite poems? Favorite poems?
My favorite poem was
Or for what were some of the ones that you loved from this? One of the ones I really like this one that was like so there's some that I liked. And I remember it vaguely as reading as a kid, but as I reread it, there were some that I liked as an adult.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite poems as an adult reading this was The Battle. And maybe it's because I was reading it at night and I'm not like going through it, but I just like I had some stuff on my mind. And it's literally like, would you like to hear of the terrible night when I bravely fought? No? All right. Like, I kind of feel like that is like where I'm at with a lot of my friends right now too, of just like, I just cannot tell people that it's not going well anymore because it's just like nobody wants to hear it. So now I'm just like, if people are like, how's it going? I'm like, I'm great.
Yeah.
And then I just go home and cry.
Do you ever, so every so often I go, mental health is important,
yes,
but I'll go to therapy and think, thank God I pay this woman to listen to me because I can't bother my friends with this or my husband with this anymore.
Yeah.
And this person now has to listen to me be a freaking moron in my life.
Yeah.
I get it.
I love my therapist because of that. It's just like, listen, I need someone that I can vent to that's not going, not just not judge, but not judge the fact that I'm still hung up on something from 16 years ago. So
yes.
Yep.
I feel like I've had this experience. We used to joke when I was in grad school. I'm a storyteller, but not good. I'm not good at it. It's not like I tell riveting stories. I just tell you weird details about my life.
Yeah, I love it.
And so one time we were playing here's another weird detail. We went up camping and it rained the whole time. And we were sitting in the tent playing poker and we were betting things. And so as a joke, I bet unnecessary extraneous stories because we didn't have actual things to bet. We were there was no chips, no money. We were sitting in a wet ass tent. Yeah. And I was like, I bet the pit toilet that you have to, it was like, I bet, you start my calculations this week. It was friends from grad school. And that was I bet 5 unnecessary extraneous stories that you don't want to hear.
Love it.
You will hear them if I win.
And maybe if I lose.
You'll hear them either way.
Yes.
And that really cracked up my office mates.
Yeah.
So,
I love that.
I was like, I'm an idiot, but I'm a self-aware idiot.
No, it's wonderful though, because you have the best rando stories. That is really fun though, when you can pull out a random story and for somebody that maybe doesn't see you as a certain way. And then all of a sudden it's just oh, okay.
I don't know what way people do see me.
Oh, okay. Well, we can talk about that later. No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. But anyway, yeah.
Sometimes I'm curious though, when I talk about science and then I turn around and I'm like, one time my grandfather hit a cow and then we butchered it and we ate it.
Oh, I love that.
But then I'm like, what do my work colleagues think about that? Goat butcher weekend, our annual goat process.
I have to do so. As much as I don't like feedback or want to know, when I turned 40, I sent out a questionnaire to my close friends and family that I had detailed all these questions about myself to give honest feedback about what they thought about my life and where they thought I should go and stuff. And a bunch of people responded. I don't know, I got 20 responses with detailed answers on how I was doing in life. It was very fascinating to see how people perceived me.
Was there anything that surprised you?
Yeah, I had one person say that I was a little callous in life, and then I was kind of surprised. That makes sense though, because I'm the person that's not happy when people are having babies, and I'm just kind of, I guess, I don't know if that's considered callous, but I don't know. Just it was interesting.
I think it's hard. Maybe this plays in a little to stereotypes, but I think you also hang out with a lot of scientists, and so I think that
it wasn't a scientist.
I know that's what I'm saying is that I think that with all the people that you with at least the friends from work and stuff, I'm thinking, our friend Boyana, none of us would say you were callous. In fact, we'd probably all say you're the most feeling one of any of us.
The bar is
on the ground.
No,
it's on the ground.
It was fine. It was just, I think it's interesting when you see yourself reflected in a different way. It makes you think about your life choices. Anyway,
I like this choice of poem. I also I sort of see myself also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I really liked the Hug of War, partially because the picture is
so freaking cute.
I saw somebody who had it as a tattoo. And I was like, that is really cool.
That's really cute.
So it goes, Hug of War. I will not play tug of war. I'd rather play at Hug of War, where everyone hugs instead of tugs, where everyone giggles and rolls on the rug, where everyone kisses and everyone grins and everyone cuddles and everyone wins.
I feel like this is okay. I just want to preface again, I am not a literary ingenue. For lack of a better word. But this is one of those ones, some of his poems are not very sing-songy.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is one of his sing-songy,
yeah.
I don't want to say sweet poems. I don't know.
There are some sweet ones. And then there's that one with that crazy old babushka lady who's the greebles or whatever that's coming at you. Greebles are the fun things that cats go after in the dark.
Oh,
it's the babushkas are coming.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, right here. The googies are coming.
Yeah. There were some of them I didn't like because
I saw a guy on, it was a reel, which I'm pretty sure just trickled down from TikTok, where this guy was he was like, do I blame, it was some song about, do I blame my trauma on my parents? Do I blame it on my schools? No, I blame it on Shel Silverstein. And it was all he says It was like all these like weird poems. He was like, I can't stop thinking about the baby who got lost.
Oh
and
my
like, all these
gosh.
things. Or the kid who got tickled to death.
Yeah.
So there is this like oscillation between very hug of war and googies.
Yeah. It was interesting to see how many of them had a little element of not spooky, but like
there's a creepy.
Creepo. Yeah. Creepo.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is also of an era where you just kind of like, I don't know. I've talked about stuff that my family did and scaring each other and things. And that's just like what you did with kids. And now I think we would say that might scar them.
Yeah. I mean, and maybe it would have. I think there's a lot of things that I think that this book of poetry is amazing for children because I think it gets them thinking. And that's what I love most about books. I didn't look if this book had been banned before. I'm guessing it probably.
I think some of his have in
challenged.
general have been banned. I think he does occasionally show up on the banned books list.
Yeah. But I can imagine some people seeing it and be like, oh, I don't want my kids to think about X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, I want young people to think about all the things so that they learn how to think and can grow and all of that stuff and are exposed. But I think that this is such a great book to read with your kids.
Right.
Like I wish my parents would have talked more about it with me. And I have memories of my dad reading this with me, or at least this one or the Addict one. And it's a happy memory. I don't remember what was going on, but the memory is the little clip in my brain is happy. So
yeah.
Unlike all of the poems I selected for myself, like there's another poem called The Forgotten Language. It's just basically about losing your childhood. Like I used to speak in the language of flowers and could hear caterpillars and all this crap, talking to crickets and then, listening to like dying snowflakes, blah, blah, blah. And then talking about where did it go. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
That's the one that's in there for the parents. It's like Disney movies where they hide some like kind of like racy jokes. Mm-hmm. That's the one that's in there for the parents, right? And the kids are like, why are you crying, mommy?
Yeah,
and
I'm like because my youth is gone. It's gone.
Because I also used to speak in the language of flowers.
Yeah.
We used to actually, so I think we had it on VHS. It was the Peter, Paul, and Mommy. Peter, Paul, and Mary is a folk group from like this.
I know. Yeah.
So they had Puff the Magic Dragon.
Yeah.
So we used to listen to them all the time on like a cassette tape when we were driving when I was a kid. But then when we also had the Peter, Paul, and Mommy VHS, and they sing the boa constrictor song. The one about so I knew the boa constrictor one
from that.
From before. And so I didn't realize that it was, I just know the Peter, Paul, and Mary version where they sang it. So
is Puff the Magic Dragon an allusion to the ganja?
I don't know. I don't know. I think that it is, but it isn't. But it's also about lost youth, right? Like,
oh yeah,
little Jackie Paper lost his Rascal Puff.
Just so you know, like just for a touchstone on when in time we are. This is the day that Snoop Dogg declared he was going off the weeds. Today on Twitter.
What?
I don't know if it's real or not.
No.
But it almost looked like a breakup. Like, you know when like celebrities post their breakup post? It was a picture of him saying like after talking to his family or something, he was giving up the smoke. Again, I don't know if it's 100%, but it's probably going to be gone by the time you listen to this.
But what will Willie say? Willie Nelson,
who's
who's been holding down the weed fort in his old age. Also, I do not smoke weed. I work for a federal institution.
Same. Never have, never will.
Full disclosure.
Yeah.
But also, I am amused by people who do smoke weed. So, what?
But that's what I always thought Puff the Magic, even as a child, that's what I thought it was about.
Well, I thought it was, I'm very gullible and I thought it was about a magical dragon. But later as I got older, no. Aw.
Again, I don't know. I fact check because I saw it on a TikTok. I mean, as I'm scrolling now, the news is all reporting on it. So
there's nothing that could be misleading on a TikTok.
I went so hardcore on this TikTok once, and I just realized how gullible I am all the time.
Oh no.
It was so embarrassing because it was just like, I was like, oh, I said it as fact. And I don't know what it is about me, but I will say things as fact and people will believe me. And that's everybody, right? But I just, in my circumstances, I have a lot of people that just like, oh, okay.
What was it? I
have no idea. But then afterwards, I was like, ooh, I gotta go retract that. It was embarrassing. It wasn't anything egregious. It wasn't like horrific, but it was kind of like, oh, that was a little bit of misinformation.
I spent more time than I'd like to admit looking for one of my favorite podcasters' podcasts because he said he had a new episode coming out before realizing it was April 1st. And I was really sad because I was actually really looking forward to it.
Okay, I do have to say that something that's hard though with social media is that like stuff sticks around, right?
Yeah.
So you don't see something till later, and then it's like, oh, this is happening, and like, oh, JK, it was.
No, it was definitely on April 1st. I'm just an idiot.
Okay, just kidding.
I'm just stupid.
You're positive affirmations. You are
sorry.
smart. You are wise.
You is kind.
Oh my gosh, I freaking hate that movie. Anyway.
I mean, yeah.
I love the actresses. I love the actresses.
Do a great job.
Little sidetrack there. But okay, what's another one that you liked?
Oh
my gosh, I have one that I wrote down, Nicki Minaj. For the toucan. Like,
Nicki
why did I
Minaj.
say Nicki? Oh, it just reminded me of her rapping style, I guess, in my head.
Oh.
I don't know. Just how few can ride the toucan. And I was like, oh, Nicki Minaj. What is that? Toucan. I'm like, yeah, that's not real.
I liked the recipe for a hippopotamus sandwich.
That was cute.
It was cute. So
basically just bread and a hippo.
And a cake.
Yeah.
It reminded me of things my office mate Lonnie would make a sandwich out of. She'd be like, we're going to make a sandwich out of bread, cake, and this hippo.
Yes.
But I did like that one. I thought it kind of reminded me of the like, how do you eat an elephant thing? But it was cute. So one I really liked was my beard.
The illustration's so cute.
Because the illustration is hilarious, but also I had a used book, and whoever had the book before me wrote OMG men. I already liked the poem, and then I saw the little blurb. I was
just like, oh, yes.
But my beard grows to my toes. I never wears no clothes. I wrap my hair around my bear, and down the road I goes. It's sing-songy. It's
sing-songy. It's fun.
Yeah. So I did read some of them aloud while I was reading because I knew he was a songwriter, and just so many of them do have like a song like quality to them.
There's one, Melinda May, who's this little girl that eats a whale over the course of her lifetime.
Yes.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, what a great illustration for what life is. It's eating a freaking whale.
Yeah.
And you just have to do it one bite at a time. And sometimes you're sick of it and you don't want to keep going. And you just have to keep going or it's over.
It made me think of Miss Havisham, though, from Great Expectations, with like sitting in a rotting room with like rotting food and cake from her wedding. It's like, how nasty would that whale be? That's all I could think about.
Oh, yeah. I don't have any deep thoughts. So
I liked it. I
get it though. Yeah, there's a point where it's like, thinking, the logistics of this would be not practical because a whale's going to go bad and its stomach's going to bloat and explode, and then everybody's going to get hurt.
Fermented whale blubber is a thing, according to that lady from Greenland that I watched Instagram videos.
I watched these ladies, some indigenous women from
Hughes, Greenland.
No, from Alaska.
Oh,
and they do blubber, like the whale thing.
Yeah,
and
they
like
pickle it.
They don't pickle it. They do something to it, and then they're cutting it. No, I think they eat it. I think they eat it like sashimi.
Oh.
And so they're cutting through it, and they have special cutters, and it's like their hands get all greasy because it's blubber, and it's like fascinating. And they have these special tools, and it makes like this cool. And I'm a vegetarian. I don't even eat meat. And they're like cutting through, and it sounds so like ASMR. It's so good. And then they're eating it, and it looks so like delicious. And it's like a whole family thing. And so everybody's sitting around, and it's like I think they freeze it or they put it in some kind of storage and they bring it out a little at a time or something. Anyway, I'll send you a link because it was really satisfying to watch, and it was neat to see the old customs. And I think that they were talking about they don't always get it that often.
Yeah.
And I think there's special rules. Yeah. It's like it's a very special. And so it just made me so happy to watch.
Yeah. I think that is one thing. I think when you don't realize like how greasy just like
fat is.
Yeah. Or if you're like cutting through. So we butcher a goat every year, and there's a couple parts that are quite fatty on the belly. And when you're trying to get it, trying to do all the getting out the meat and stuff, like you do get a point where it's like your hands are kind of greasy, or like I usually wear gloves to try to keep it all nice and clean, but it does get kind of greasy.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, it's just interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah. It's a weird, like, I guess, because you don't think about it, right? If you're cooking meat and you're like, oh man, I touched this meat and it's greasy. I mean, maybe if you've like, I think the closest thing is if you're doing bacon and you're making bacon and you're touching it with your hands and your hands get kind of oily and you have to go wash your hands. Yeah. It's the same thing when you're like pulling, you're doing the butchering. It's super weird.
So strange.
It's super strange.
But whatever. It's delicious.
I had goat tonight left from the thing.
I mean, I'm happy for you. It sounds horrible to me, but just
fair.
because,
You're I get it.
As you say, go, I hear bah, and like this cute little goat eating like a tin can. And I just read Percy Jackson and the Olympians, so I'm thinking of Grover a little bit, and he ate a lot of cans in that book. Anyway,
That's fair, and I understand. Like, so the goats are humanely raised by our friends.
I don't have any qualms with that. I just, whenever anybody says like, "Oh, I'm having pig, do you want some?" or pork, I just see a pig squealing in my brain, and so that it makes it hard to like, yes, I'll chomp into your little cute little face.
I know that it's totally like cognitive dissonance. I know it doesn't make sense, but there are some things I like. When I went to the Netherlands, they have horse meat in the grocery stores, and I couldn't do it because I had grown up where, cows and goats and pigs are food animals, and horses are, and dogs are pet animals, and cats are a useful nuisance. But now I'm like a cat lady. But I get it.
It just depends. Yeah,
just how you came up. Yeah.
So there's another one named Chester. I didn't even like this one, but it's this guy and he has like a head growing out of his head. And I just liked the illustration. Like, I think half of this book was just illustrations I liked.
Yes. So I think that's something I didn't realize that he had actually, I didn't realize he had done the illustration. So when I read the book, I like turned to the front of the book and it was like, poems and illustrations by Shel Silverstein. So this goes a little bit into his history. So he was born in Chicago to a Jewish family. He went to University of Illinois, but he got expelled.
Oh, why?
It was unclear.
Oh.
But then he enrolled in the Chicago Academy of Fine Arts, but it was sort of Korea times. And so he ended up getting drafted into the army and he served in Japan and Korea.
Oh.
But he had been making cartoons since he was a kid. And so after he got back, he did some freelancing for a while. And then he ended up as one of the leading cartoonists at Playboy.
Oh.
So
Playboy had cartoons?
They have articles. You never read it for the articles?
Oh, I'm sorry. No.
I actually haven't. I didn't. It was gifted to me. It was a weird thing, but it was fine. I read it because I was running out of stuff to read. And okay, this actually happened to me as a kid. Do you want to hear this story?
I do.
So when I was a kid, we would go and spend the summers with my grandma. And my grandma had books, but she was not a big reader. So that summer, I read through every Western Horseman. I read through every Louis L'Amour. There's only so much freaking Sackett in this world that you can take. And I got tired of Westerns. And so the last thing that was left was my grandma's schmut books. All of her like Harlequin romance, though nothing really happened in any of them. And I started reading them, and then my mom found out and was really ticked off at my grandma for letting me read smut.
Which was it that bad back then? Because smut now, like I'm on Smut Talk or Smut Book Talk.
Yeah.
And like people, some of it's like very spicy. Like,
no, I do remember like one scene, the like raciest scene was they like hopped into bed together to like get warm because they were in the middle of the wilderness, and they like sort of alluded to the fact that they were doing things, and then that was the end of the scene. It's all very much like in your imagination.
Oh, okay. No, this is like the
old
lips
Harlequin
were opening and
God.
sorry.
No, none of that. It was
okay.
That would have been like way too much.
Yeah,
but no, no. It was like very tame.
It was like PG-13.
There was a plot.
Smut.
Yeah, it was
Fabio smut.
Yeah, it was Fabio smut. Like his shirt ripped off, and then she touched his nipples, and then they rolled around in the hay, and then they were flushed. Okay. That was like most of it. I just remember how flushed she was constantly being described as flushed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You ever just been flushed? So yeah,
so he was an illustrator for Playboy.
For Playboy, he did cartoons, and he actually had a series called Shel Silverstein Visits that was actually quite like famous. And so he talked about his world travels, and he wrote like humorous cartoons about traveling the world. But what I knew him as, a kid as like, oh yeah, this. But then as I got older, I'm a big country music fan, and he actually wrote a ton of country songs. And so he wrote one of the songs that we used to sing in my house a lot, A Boy Named Sue, which is about a boy named Sue. And if you haven't listened to it, it is a freaking treat. So it's the same like level of like sass and wordplay, but it's way spicier. It's about this guy whose dad leaves, but before he leaves, he names him Sue. And so Sue grows up getting in fights. And then finally he runs into his dad. And as he announces to the dad, you know, "Hi, my name is Sue."
I'm sorry, I just
How
like
do
pictured
you
like
do? Now
Slim
you're gonna
Shady.
die. That's
Hi,
like
my
literally
name
the
is
song.
Sue.
That's how it goes. You're gonna die. And then he gets in a fight. He fights his dad. He nearly kills his dad. And then his dad tells him the only reason he named him Sue was because he knew he would have to be tough. And so he knew that name would get him picked on. And then they bond.
Okay, I mean, it's good, but it's a lot.
It is a lot,
It's a
but
lot.
it's like there was a lot of like story songs or like that are so there's a Loretta Lynn song called "One's on the Way," and then the ones that I knew growing when I got older was all the Dr. Hook songs. So Dr. Hook was like a 70s country rock band that was fronted by a dude with an eye patch and a cowboy hat and a very gravelly voice.
Okay.
But he had a song called "Cover of the Rolling Stone." They had a song. And my sister and I love it. It's about this band that's like trying to do everything. They basically like follow the path of the Beatles. They go to India and get a guru. They like have outfits, but all they want in life is just to be on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. But it's the same thing. It's like another story song, but it's all very like countercultural. Like one of the lines is like, "I got a freaky old lady named Cocaine Katie."
Oh, hello.
Which she sounds fun.
She sounds like a good time, especially a 70s cocaine Katie.
And she embroideries on my jeans.
Oh, and
Yes.
she's crafty.
She's crafty.
Oh, I like it.
So Cocaine Katie embroiders his jeans, but he still can't get to the cover of the Rolling Stone. And I think the one that always gets me the most is a song called "Freakin' at the Freakers Ball."
I know like a disco-y song like that.
Is it about an orgy?
I'm pretty sure, but
Shel
that's Freaks Go Out at Night. Never mind.
Okay, so also maybe about an orgy.
Yeah, who knows? What isn't?
Flushed.
Somebody just said that in the Grinch, like the live one.
Yeah.
They have like flashbacks of Baby Grinch at a party, and like they're showing the party, and like all the adults are throwing their keys in like a bowl.
No.
And somebody's like, "Wait a minute, was this
It's a swingers
party?" So I don't know, but that's the conspiracy.
Well, this is exactly what that is about. And it has some, I will say, trigger warning, some outdated terminology. It was written in the 70s, but by Shel Silverstein. But it's pretty much, it's all my favorite line is the greatest of the sadists and the masochists too, screaming, "Please hit me and I'll hit you."
Oh, I like that. That's so good.
So it's we have a playlist called Songs We Can't Share with Other People. And
I love that.
Definitely on there. We love it. So
you did make me a playlist of his songs.
Yes.
And I was listening to it and I only recognized some pony song. No.
I think that was Spotify. That was you recognized El Paso by Marty Robbins.
Yeah.
And he did not write that.
He didn't write that?
No, that was the seeded playlist that came after.
Oh, shoot. So yeah, I recognized none of the songs at all.
No, it's fine. So there's like a bunch of like.
Oh, that's funny. I thought he wrote that. It's like, oh, I got this.
No.
So makes more sense now.
We're gonna, as we're cleaning up, we're gonna listen to "Freaking at the Freakers Ball." It is filthy, but lovely. It's like endearingly filthy.
I love filthy.
Yeah, it's
I just
good.
don't like to fly my freak flag often.
Oh, this is a whole party about letting your freak flag fly. Yeah. So it's mostly songs about like stories. This is stuff I grew up with, like Emmylou Harris, Queen of the Silver Dollar, Marie Laveau by Bobby Bear. So like lots of songs about bizarre characters. That kind of is like his
I feel
jam.
like him. Like I thought he was a black man. Let me just say. Growing up, I thought he was some kind of mix of black man. Don't know why. Maybe because the photo of him was black and white, and that's child logic,
back of the
kid logic.
Yeah,
and he had a bald head.
Yes.
My dad had a bald head.
Yes.
He kind of had a beard. My dad had a beard. My dad was a very dark black man, and Shel Silverstein is not.
That photo is in bad lighting.
Yes. So I was like, oh, okay, he's like mixed like me. And then I was looking, I'm like, no, he's not.
Nope. He's a Jewish man from Chicago.
Yes, but you know.
Not that you can't be black and Jewish, but he was, yes.
Yeah. And if you look at him, he's clearly not black as an adult. So
No.
yeah,
but yeah,
whatever.
he used to go on like the Johnny Cash show and stuff. So he's like a big countercultural person, but also like wrote these children's books. He also wrote plays. He wrote plays with David Mamet, who's a famous playwright. Also, you might know his daughter. His daughter Zosia Mamet from Girls. She played Shoshana.
Oh, I wasn't in Girls.
You didn't watch Girls.
I was older than you. I watched Sex and the City.
Oh,
And by the time Girls came around, I was old.
I watched Girls. I sort of watched it for like a season and a half. And then I was like, I have to finish grad school and quit listening to these girls complain.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it was like Sex and the City, Girls, the new ones like Euphoria. Like every generation has their like super sexually explicit.
Yeah, I was going to say, we are ladies and we have sex.
Yeah.
And we have real adult problems.
Yeah.
It was a fine show. So I kind of like disliked the characters, but I don't know. I think that was the point.
I didn't like the main girl that much.
No, that made it hard to watch.
It was just like kind of painful. And I was like, what year was that? Probably
2000 would have been 2012, 2013.
Yeah, I was like legit adult. Like,
yeah, I was in grad school.
Not like, yeah. Anyway, what else has he done? Is he alive?
No, he died in 1999.
Oh.
He had a heart attack,
Oh.
but he had 2 kids. He never married. He was kind of a fuck boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
He like bragged about how many women he had had.
Okay,
like,
that's kind of
yeah,
creepy.
that part not so great. But you know, he was kind of a fuck boy. He had 2 kids. One of his kids passed away at 11 of a cerebral aneurysm, and so that's who the Light in the Attic is dedicated to. But then he had a son, and yeah, he died in Florida.
Oh, wow. That's a nice place to go.
I was going to say the Great Migration. As you get older, you just move to Florida.
I have family members that are starting to get like to the point where they're retiring and they're like, I'm thinking about moving to Florida. I'm like, okay.
Snowburden.
Yeah. I'm just like, oh, okay.
I'm just going to let the arthritis take my joints.
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
don't care.
Yeah.
It worked for every other woman in my family.
Yeah. I'm just going to be old and happy.
You just freeze up a little.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. So what after looking at this again as an adult,
yes,
after taking a dive into this world of poetry, what were your last thoughts on this? What would you rate this?
Oh, I really liked it. I'm with you. I think it's one you would read with your kids because there are some like really weird, creepy. Again, the Googies, don't want the Googies coming. I don't want that. But like, I could see it could be a little bit spooky, but I think it's there's a lot of the poems that are quite sweet and are quite nice and are there's a lot of silly characters. It's very creative and very silly. Yeah. So I would say I rate this 9 out of 10 hugs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say I'd give it 4 out of 5 pancake stacks. Like,
I love pancake stacks.
Yeah, like, and I think that was one of the poems that I remember as a kid because I freaking loved pancakes as a kid, and my dad used to always make pancakes for dinner, and they were always like not burnt, but the pancakes that are not evenly cooked, like on the outside, so they're never like a full brown color. It's like
it's really hard
leopard pancakes.
It's hard to get them even if you're
still can't.
Okay.
Like I still can't do it. And but they were the best. They were the best tasting because Dad made them. And so I would give it that. So I enjoyed this. It was kind of fun. It was an easy read.
Yeah.
It made me think. It made me not teary, but like inside teary with some of the like happy poems that are like, oh, clearly you're not happy, and oh, your childhood is gone, and oh, you're thinking too much about life.
Yeah,
I liked it.
There's not to laugh at that.
It's fine. Depression's great.
But no, I think there's like a level of nostalgia here that is quite, and I think he sees it too, right? He even, like I said, like the poem that you pointed out, there is I think something for the adults here as well.
Yeah, it really held up too. For the most part, I didn't have any big trigger warnings and not like a lot in here. And it holds up. Like if I got this book tomorrow, for the most part, it all makes sense for today too.
Yeah, I agree. Freaking at the Freakers Ball does not hold up for terminology. Just a heads up.
Fair enough.
But it is very let your freak flag fly. Nobody's getting judged there.
Which I love that about nowadays. It's just more and more of just like the corners of the internet that I find. It's fascinating.
What is your then what are we, as a send off? What is the most interesting blank talk that you've stumbled upon?
I have to go with the realistic babies. That's the most one, that the silicone babies that are the reborn babies.
Did I tell you about this? My mother-in-law told us that 2 flights she's been on had people with realistic baby dolls.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing. And now this one chick, though, she cracks me up because she has them, and like TikTok has a million filters.
Yeah.
And so they have a filter that will make your eyes blink and stuff. And so it starts making the baby look alive. And then I was like, at first I was like, because I'm gullible, I'm like, oh my gosh, because they have little like machines that you can put on the baby to make it look like it's breathing. But so I thought maybe they had one that makes the eyes go back and forth, but it was just a filter, but it was a lot. It was a lot. But Sam, on a happier note.
Yeah, because I feel dead for society.
Next month's book, I'm so excited about. Not because of the book, but because of the movie based on the book.
We're going to watch it?
Yes. It's the best Christmas pageant ever.
Yeah.
And it's about this ragtag group of kids, this family that nobody really wants to, I don't want to go into it, but nobody really wants to deal with because they're just so bad, and kind of how they get involved in their community. And the movie stars, oh gosh, I always say her name wrong. She's the girl from Craft, Fariza Balak or something like that. I can't remember.
No idea.
She's amazing. She's in like Almost Famous, all these movies.
Oh.
She's kind of quirky, and she owned like a witch. No. Yeah, she owned like a new age store in LA for a long time with like, so you could go get like stuff for Wicca and all kinds of things in there. It was like
crystals.
And crystals and tarot cards and all the things. But anyway, I loved the movie growing up. And so I'm so excited to read the book and then watch the movie and talk about it for our holiday spectacular episode. And by spectacular, I mean maybe one extra drink. Maybe we do two drinks and a shot. I don't know. It's Christmas. It's the holidays. Let's get wild. Put a little tinsel on our toes.
Jingle your bells, baby.
Jingle
Let's go.
those bells. So,
let's do it.
If you are interested in reading that book with us, get it now at your favorite local bookstore or on eBay for free. Nope. Let me take that back.
You do have to pay for them on eBay. Just full disclosure. You have to pay.
Used. I don't know. I'm just maybe like, I've drank a lot of things.
Also, Libby through your local library.
Yes, like there's lots of ways to get it. And the movie is available on YouTube. So if you don't want to read the book. But I'm just so excited to share this like really special piece of like what I used to love watching as a little kid at Christmas with you, Sam, because there's nothing like that. The magic of the holidays with a child. So not that that made it seem like you're the child.
Do you have, I mean, are we going to bring your realistic baby or what are we doing?
I will never have one of those. No.
You already do have a realistic baby.
His name's Bubba. Yeah. He's a little cat.
I was going to say Telltale also. Fratelli is also realistic baby.
I'll just dress them up.
Fratelli is realistic teenagers.
Yes. She's going through puberty right now. So it's real rough.
And you don't know anything about her experience.
No. And completely. So anyway, I'm glad we reread this.
Yeah.
I feel smarter and wiser. And I'm actually I think I'm going to reread the Attic one too, just because that one had, I think, more from what I remember as a kid.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, good times.
Maybe that will be next year.
Maybe.
Or not. Who knows?
If you're enjoying Boozy Book Reports and would like to support the show, you can share episodes with your friends and family, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Boozy Book Report, or leave us a positive review and rating, all which help us to grow. Our theme music was created by the Finley Ghost. Check out their latest album now. Thank you and happy reading.